would not be Leave It at the Table without some kind of absolute misfire before we go live. But so far, so good on the comment section. So maybe we weren't as hot as I thought. So, all right. Welcome.
Gotta love it.
Welcome to Leave It at the Table. It is a beautiful, beautiful Thursday night. It was a gorgeous day, by the way. Started out a little rocky, a little windy, rainy.
Started out windy. It was windy all day for me. Well, I was over in Santa Rosa.
It was. Well, I just meant like the combined feature of everything. It was a beautiful day. It ended up being wet in the mid to high 60s. Sun was out all day. It was a great day to have a desk job and be stuffed up in an office. But I ended up having a much better day than I thought I was going to have. We got some guests here with us tonight. We've got Matthew Morgan and we've got Benjamin Maxwell. We'll call you Matt and Ben for short, of course. I mean, we're not going to go official all night unless we.
I hear spinoff.
Benjamin.
We've been calling him
Benjamin.
What? Drutavius? That.
There's a lot of different names you've been calling me.
Du Gorman.
Du Yorman.
Du Yorman, that was it. It was Du Yorman, and then those are just to your face. So imagine the other stuff. We'll come back to them here in a second. Just a couple things to go over. Next Thursday, the 19th, we're doing our big giveaway winner. If Danielle could still speak at the end of that episode, we will do our big giveaway winner. But Danielle is running the ones and twos here tonight. No microphone, no camera for her, but she's here running the board, so much appreciated. Make sure you show her some love in the comments. So next Thursday the 19th, we're going to announce the winner of our giveaway, and we're doing our punishing trivia, which is going to be just an absolute terrible time. We've been going through some of the comments, and some of you guys I thought loved us.
Diabolical.
I thought they loved us, but all of a sudden you've got pickled pig feet. Somebody put Valerie from our job put squirrel brain and eggs.
I had a buddy reach out to me. He said,
Very salty, by the way.
Really?
When you work at the Piggly Wiggly and the label falls off, play around a mystery can. Definitely got squirrel brains once.
Oh, no.
It'll change your life.
Oh, no. That sounds terrible.
Second.
I
want to max
Just shove it in his
out.
mouth. What are you, you want me to lower it?
he pulled it. He pulled it. I'm just lowering it because it looks like he's sitting up to talk into it.
Oh, well,
I'm trying to help out.
you're good.
Trying.
And then we are off on Thursday the 26th. We will not be having a show. Why are we not having a show, Drew?
Baseball.
Baseball's back. Opening day. It's like a holiday. I honor some people honor the Sabbath. Like I honor opening day.
That's wild with the people here.
That's fair.
That's wild.
That's fair.
I'm now taking bets on Sunday sermon.
You can go to fanduel.com/Goat Bear Lobster to place your bet right now. So back to our guests here. We'll start with Ben. Tell us a little bit about you and a little bit about yourself.
Guys, y'all have hyped me up so much. I feel like there's like so much pressure coming on now.
This has been a long time
And
coming.
Lacey's already lapped me, so. But
2 times.
which camera is this camera mode? Kids, don't meet your heroes. Because when you walk into a gas station one morning and they just push you aside and then stand in line and buy like 20 lotto tickets, not win, and then storm out,
Wow, Drew.
it'll ruin your day.
Terrible.
But yeah, I met Drew once. I was at a gas station one morning. All the rest wasn't true, but it's good to finally meet him.
Yeah.
For real. Or
He's
him to meet me.
He's met Drew. Drew has not met him.
Yeah. I was walking around the corner and all of a sudden I saw this guy staring at me. I'm like, I got to get out of here.
He walked in, honestly, he walked in and I was like, he looks familiar. I didn't realize till I left who you were.
Dude, we thought about going out of town one day and just being like, are you Drew Gorman from Leave It at the Table? Just like taking a picture in the mall or something, making people think we're like famous. Seeing if you can get people to tag on to that.
But that was, then I've got people calling me Tyler Childers or Mark Zuckerberg
The Tyler Childers one, we were in Nashville.
Mark
and-
Zuckerberg, I can see it.
or the Bradley
Bradley
Gaskin. Why did I say Brantley Gilbert? The other BG.
BG, yeah. He is, Brantley Gilbert's the other BG. Bradley Gaskin's the BG.
Exactly.
We're best voice I've ever heard live. We're in Nashville, and we go into Kid Rock's bar.
Yes.
So we went in the Kid Rock's bar, and first of all, overstimulated right off the bat. Not a big fan of crowds, but I felt like, I've never been on Broadway. Kid Rock's bar, it's like the hot spot. Like you kind of feel like you have to. So we go in there, and dumb drunk kids come up to Drew and they're like, "Hey, bro, are you Tyler Childers?" And Drew goes, "Maybe." And he goes, "Wait, are you actually Tyler Childers?"
They were standing at the door, and I was like, whatever, maybe. Kept walking, and we were like standing there, and we just stopped and like we're listening to the band, trying to figure out what we were gonna do, if we were gonna stay in or leave or go up to like the third floor or whatever.
Which
And
we
then
did. That was a nightmare.
And then they walked back over, and they were like, "So like, are you really Tyler Childers?" And I looked at him, I was like, "No."
Dude, they were like from across the room, like,
Are you really?
Dude, you always got to lean into it. Absolutely, I am.
Skylar Childers.
Just start taking pictures and be like, "Oh, Tyler Childers was on Broadway last week."
We got Duke Bryan. We got Skylar Childers.
Oh, Duke Bryan.
We're good. Oh, and of course we got Matt Morgan here tonight. Matt, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
So I'm a pastor of a church where Kyle and Ben both attend,
And we'll be coming forward Sunday.
yeah, it's the 11th commandment.
Doing buy one get one baptisms on Sunday, by
opening,
the way. So.
opening day baseball.
Buy one, get one.
And I'm married, got a couple of kids, both in middle school. So I'm very much in the throes of that.
Can't wait to talk about that stage of being a parent
Oh,
because well, I'm not ready. I can't wait. I can wait to get to that point, but hearing about it, like there's got to be horror stories.
Well, you can wait for them to. You can't wait for them to get their own bed because from what you posted this morning, wow.
It's one thing when it's one of them. It's not so bad. We have a king size bed. We did that for a reason, because I'm kind of a hot sleeper and we like our space. It's one thing when it's one of them because Carson, not a little kid,
Yeah.
not a little 7-year-old. He is massive. Last night they both end up in the room, and it was like half my body's off the bed. And it's of course I know I've talked to parents. I know that one day we're gonna miss that and we're gonna wish they were still in our bed. So you don't want to fight it too much, but
It's a Darius Rucker song, I believe. You're gonna miss this.
that's Trace Adkins.
That Trace Adkins.
You know what's funny about that song? That was the song that was playing when I got in my wreck. Yeah,
Oh.
ironic. Yeah, very ironic.
Tough.
Still not the worst part of the night. Losing the Hardee's cheeseburger was the worst part.
Big facts.
I was so upset about that, man.
telling the medic, "Hey, can I get my cheeseburger?"
The cop was like, "Do you want this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then the paramedic's like, "You can't have that. You have a concussion." Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a true story. It really happened. First of all, shout out to the ladies last week for just nailing it down. Amber, that's usually where you would clap too, because your wife
yes.
was part of that.
Yes,
So
yes.
was yours, by the way. So I want to give special love to Danielle, of course. Again, off camera tonight, but killed it. Running Drew and I
100%.
talked after the show. And we're like, kind of expected 30, 40 minutes, like the steam would kind of run out. Really felt like you guys had another hour in you.
Oh, 100%.
But you did good not dragging it out too long, and you did a great job at making sure that it was long enough.
When she started wrapping it up, I was like, "Oh no, there's no more questions. I want to know more."
I was excited because Ezra was stemming out. It was a riot.
You were ready for bring in the reliever.
Yeah. Had to make a call to
Bring
the
in the
bullpen.
closer. Bring in the closer.
I'm not good at nighttime. I'm the morning guy. But shout out to the ladies. They killed it last week. But as always, here we are. We're gonna make it better.
Yeah, I don't know what show you are watching. I think it went 50 minutes too long. Stop while we're ahead. Stop while we're ahead.
Cut it down. Cut it down. We've lost live feed. Sorry.
So with the thought of all of our wives that were on there last week, I wanted to give us each a little bit. I put 30 seconds on the questions, but if you don't have that long in you, I know you've got if we don't use 30, I know you'll take the rest of it. So yeah, only 30 seconds max. Respond to your wife from last week.
I was very proud of my wife because
This is supposed to be a response. We already gave them love.
I'm very proud of my wife because she came on here and basically she's never done anything like this. And I'm very proud of her because she was able to come on here and handle herself like she had done it every day of her life. And I know from personal experience, you don't sit in front of a mic and cameras and are good at it.
No, it takes a little bit of time.
It takes a little bit of time. But she sat down and had been telling me she was mad at me because I didn't properly disclose that I wasn't going to be on the podcast. I was going to be off camera. I didn't properly disclose that. And so she got mad and she was like, "I don't know if I'm going to back out. I don't know if I'm going to do it." And I'm like, "You're already on a post. Like, your name's out there. You've got to show up now." And then she came on here and killed it. And I was like, "Hey, I'm going to take it. Great job."
Ben.
My wife, I have a prepared statement. She was great. No, she came home and I was like, I feel like she held back. Which I'm not exactly complaining, but because it could have gone a lot worse for me. But yeah, I was like, I don't know. I just felt like she held back. I don't really have anything to. I even went back and rewatched it to see if I had anything to refute. I didn't really have a whole lot. Not like you guys.
I got. Well. First of all, yeah, Rachel did a great job. They all did. But I always tell Rachel that's when you're married to a content creator, like you're gonna have to be on camera sometimes, whether it's like food review videos or just anything like this. Like I'm gonna want you to step up and do this, and she's always done that without question. So shout out to her for that. And also she did admit on camera. I have a clip to prove it that she loves me and my farts. And that's on camera, and that is documented for the world to see for the rest of our lives. So I have it literally on almost on speed dial. So where if she says something one day, if I just rip one off, I'm like, you said it.
I love you.
Right. You said it, not me.
Wow.
There was one comment made that I was a little taken back by. I was called a failed entrepreneur on my own show.
Ouch.
It was that stung a little.
You haven't failed yet.
So actually,
it's not failed. We've just we've changed.
we have
We've evolved.
moment of silence for the Right On Sports podcast, the Right On Sports Circle podcast, the Fantasy Football MD podcast, Terribly Terrific, No Purpose podcast, Nerd Culture Undisputed.
Yeah.
Rest of Terribly Terrific, which never actually had an episode released, but it does have a recording out there. That one,
Whatever we did with the 15-minute segments of How Do I Eat This?
How Do I Eat This? RIP.
If you ever fail at shows, you can just get a job coming up with names for shows, like Mouse Rat,
My
Rat
next-
Mouse.
My next sermon series, when I title it, I'm gonna.
Oh, he's the man with the ideas.
There you
Dude,
go.
I've got to. I mean, I'm great with punishing trivia. That's so that feels good.
Scarecrow Boat.
So if you need Know It All still running, longest running show, and Kyle Wright history, going into season 5.
We're hot on their tail.
I actually just talked to my cousin Rick about the Know It All podcast yesterday, and I'm like, man, it's so popular, and I'm so mad about it because I just want to stop doing it because the program is a mess, and I want to not do it anymore, but I feel like I have to.
Ever since you started the pod, FSU has gone down.
I blame Dan Gonzalez, okay? That is Dan's fault, okay? Because my first season 13-0.
Yeah.
13-1 with an asterisk. 13-0. That was my first year on the podcast. Great year. Dan's first year, 2-10. Last year, 5-7. What first game of the year though? Something. What happened in that first game?
Oh, y'all won one?
Oh, yeah, we beat Alabama. That's right. By the way, LSU fans, see the helmet.
Do
over there.
the fans always storm the field when you lose?
No,
Because
no.
they always do when we.
It happens too often. If somebody stormed the field every time they beat FSU, the ACC would be out of so much money. All right, we'll move on here. We'll kind of just go counterclockwise with each of these answers. That way, we let Drew go, get it out of his system, and we see how much time we've got left for each answer. First of all, let me look at the comments real quick. I know we've missed quite a few. I know Lacey is watching, so shout out to Lacey. I see David Ham up there. I see my dad, Kenny. Love you, Dad. Kyle Albritton, of course, dropping all the hate in the comments. Of course, the curse of the dog poo. That'll never go away.
Mom's up there too.
Shout out to my mom. I see her as well. Kyle McAlpin, love you. Had a funny thing about him before the show. I need to message him about that separately. I'll talk to him about that. But shout out to Kyle McAlpin, and shout out to everybody watching.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now the gear, I heard the
click.
gear click. Yeah. So yeah, thank you guys for showing us love. If you don't mind, hit the share button. If you're watching on Facebook, share it to your friends. If you're watching on YouTube, copy the link. Maybe send it to just 5 random people. If you are watching, drop a comment, and I'll do my best to keep my eyes on them and show you some love throughout the show. Drew, we'll start with you. Who was the man or men that influenced you the most growing up, and what did they teach you about being a man?
Both of my grandfathers and my dad. Both of my grandfathers were very hardworking men, and they never stopped. Never stopped. One of my grandfather on my mom's side's favorite sayings was, I'm getting tired. If he was sitting down taking a break from gardening outside or doing yard work or whatever, he'd come inside, eat lunch, drink some sweet tea, and then whenever he gets, he'd start to feel himself falling asleep. He goes, "Oh, I'm getting tired. I got to get up and go get some energy." And he'd just get up and go right back to work without no questions asked. Just get up and go. And I actually, whenever I first moved here in 2020, I became a carpenter, partly because my grandfather was a carpenter. And so he really inspired me to do that. But it just showed me, as well as my dad, that no matter what circumstances are in front of you or what problems amount, there's always a way. And the old saying of there is a will, where there's a will, there's a way. They embodied it, all three of them, to their degree, to the point where no matter what happens in life, I know that I can overcome whatever it is because they showed me how to do it and how to be a man.
I love that, Drew. Also, shortest Drew answer of all time.
Well, we've got 4 people to talk.
But you were very heartfelt, and it didn't have to take 10 minutes. I felt like I was there.
Do you want me to keep going?
No, you're good. I felt like Nan Dad raised me. You know what I mean? Kyle McAlpin wants to know if we've installed a wheelchair ramp for him. No, but you better put on the 4-wheel drive because, here in a couple weeks, people aren't going to be coming through the house anymore. They're going to be coming through the yard to the back door to get into the studio, and you're going to need 4-wheel drive on that wheelchair, buddy. So
we'll install gravel.
We'll put a winch in and pull you out of it. Benjamin.
Yeah, I mean, my answer is very similar to Drew's, and I was trying to think outside the box and give up, a non-expected answer or whatever. But there's no getting around it. I've had a lot of men in my life. I've been very fortunate in that. It's one of those things it's not like you take it for, I guess you do take it for granted when you're younger and you reach a certain age, and you start to kind of just realize how many great examples you do have. So I have my older brother is a big one. My dad's another big one, but they all kind of come from that same, the source is I had two really great grandfathers. And they were kind of great in their own ways. When they've kind of put two almost dueling mentalities, or instilled kind of two dueling mentalities. They were dueling when I was younger, and then I reached a level where it's I don't know. So my mom's dad, he was a sailor, very adventurous. He told stories about hitchhiking across country, and in the merchant marines. I mean, he was very adventurous, the romantic kind of guy. Taught me how to sail. We had a sailboat. Taught me how to sail. He's going to leave it to me. Unfortunately, got sick late in his life, and had to sell the sailboat. Broke my heart. I still to this day would like to track it down and get it back, because taught me how to sail on it. And then in contrast to that, my dad's dad, kind of they were both patriarchies in their own way to our family, but my dad's dad, he was the down home responsibility, take care of your family, didn't really venture out or go, travel or do anything like that. He taught me how to fish. So I always kind of, it's the sailor and fisherman mentality. So, one taught me how to kind of explore, be adventurous, always look like he used to say, is he always wondered what was over that mountain, and he'd want to go see what's over that mountain and over that horizon. And then my other grandfather, he was personal responsibility, taking care of family, and boy, did he take care of a growing family, and he took care of so many people, extended family, to the point that it wasn't until at his funeral I realized how many people he was really taken care of. And, it was really kind of a rock, and resolve is a word that comes to mind a lot when talking about him. But, growing up, I always had that urge to go travel and go see and explore. And I was fortunate enough to get to do that. And then I've reached, I think it was really after my dad's dad, when he passed away, I started to feel a shift, but I was definitely a shift. Did I break it?
No, I think we're good. Hey, Danielle, there's something up on the screen.
Taking over Drew's job.
We're good. You're good.
But, yeah, it's just like I felt a shift of just all the things that he taught and really kind of instilled in me, the personal responsibilities, like started taking over, and just being that consistent resolve rock, to everybody. And then real quick, non-conventional answer. Professionally, so I used to work sports information, and worked at my first real job after college, University of West Alabama. My boss there, Kent Partridge, who's now retired, unfortunately, is a great guy. Everything I've learned professionally, especially in a managerial role and overseeing people and whatever, I learned from him. And I was thinking about this, trying to figure out how to describe it, but there was just, it's really hard to describe. It's just a very tactful approach. Because I remember, like, when I first started that job, and it's like I finally, you graduate college and you're kind of in that rush, finding a job, trying to find a job. Finally, after like 3 or 4 months, find a job. Now I'm in it. You start to kind of relax a little bit, and I relaxed too much, and I was juggling 3 or 4 different teams, and I kept forgetting about women's volleyball. Women's volleyball's out on the road, and I've already covered all these teams, and I forgot about women's volleyball. I didn't do post-game story or anything like that, and I missed about 2 or 3 in a row. He sent me a message like, "This can't continue," and it just woke me up. And I mean, we've been real close. We were real close ever since. He's still one of those, like, if I ever called him, we just pick up where we left off, I feel like. But yeah, I wish I could describe him better, but professionally, he's one I'm fortunate to have somebody I can look up to professionally and learn and grow from, and I'll stop. Sorry, Drew, I took your job tonight.
Professionally that's a big one. I've got one of those too. So, all right, Matt.
Yeah. Well, I'll continue the trend with highlighting a grandfather. I mean, that was the first person that I thought of was my mom's dad, and he worked for the railroad. Drew, like you, he was a hard worker. He was always doing stuff, but his life was not about work. His life was about people, and he was just one of the most generous, hospitable people that I've ever been around. And he died last year. And when we got together with friends and family to just reflect on his life, that's what everybody wanted to talk about, was the way that he listened to people, the way that he was intentional about caring for people, that he remembered when you had a conversation with him, he would remember it and come back to it. Even if it was months later, he would come back to it and ask about whatever it is that you shared with him before. And so just that intentionality with people, that people was the most important part of his life, just really impacted me. And then my non-conventional one is a friend, and the reason it's non-conventional is he's only a month older than me, but he matured just earlier than I did from a emotional and spiritual standpoint, and I've looked up to him, and in many ways, like in my young adulthood, he was teaching me by example how to be a responsible and contributing adult.
Real quick, that was one point I wanted to come back to, but that's a good point as far as, like, we think of like those older folks that have instilled and taught us lessons or whatever. Because I know I mentioned him briefly, my older brother, who is 2.5, 3 years older than me, and we heard the same lectures. We got the same lessons, and we went through all that. But seeing him get married and start a family and become a leader of his family, that did just seeing all of the stuff that we've been, told and told and told, but seeing him kind of go first and put it into practice did more good for me than any kind of spoken lesson could have done. So there's a lot of those like just close in age kind of people that do a number for us.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. NJL 96 MVP on YouTube. I'm not 100% sure who that is, but they said, glad I tuned in to hear Ben say that. Kent is a great human and one of the best managers of people I've ever met.
What's that name?
It says NJL MVP.
Oh,
or NJF
Nick
maybe?
Finch.
Okay,
Yeah.
NF. Okay, there we go. All right. Yeah, it's just staying on the trend of grandfathers. Obviously, I mean, I'm in his home. He was. I always say I'm a child of divorce, and I'm fortunate enough to be very close to my stepdad and my dad. But when you're a child of divorce, it's very hard to find constants in your life. And my grandfather and my Uncle John Wright were those two constants for me. And constants doesn't mean that the others weren't there. It just meant no matter what, like my grandpa could come around my dad, my uncle could come around my stepdad, and it was always cohesive no matter what, and they were always there. And so yeah, my grandpa. I'm gonna keep it short because I've got like I have to talk about my dad and grandpa too, or my dad and my stepdad as well. But yeah, my grandpa, my Uncle John taught me just about everything I know about baseball that my dad didn't. He was, my dad worked overnight, so he would be like fried, like tired at the end of the day. So when I got home, while he was, he's finishing up his sleep before he'd get up for the night, he would come out there and join us. But my Uncle John, he'd get me out in the backyard throwing pitches to me. He had a newspaper baseball wrapped in duct tape, and he'd throw it to me until I bashed the window in, and then we had to switch to a wiffle ball for a little while. But so yeah, my Uncle John. My dad is my best friend in the world. I'll always stand on that opinion. He is just the person that I call when I've got something that I need to talk about. I do fear. I was worried about that little gap. Also, I thought about it like a minute ago where the blanket's on the outside, so that's going to become a thing at some point. Somebody's going to come on the inside of that blanket, but you're good. My dad, yeah, my best friend in the world. I call him about everything. The one thing I hold against my dad is that he raised me to be a Reds fan. Thanks for that. Terrible. And then my stepdad, who, and I don't think I've ever said this to him, so I hope you're watching, Tony. I did see you comment a little bit ago. One thing about Tony that has always been fantastic is that to my sister and I, Tony's our stepdad, but to him, we're his kids, and it's never felt any other way. Yeah. And he takes pride in us. He treats our kids like they're his own grandkids. It's fantastic. So that's a big one. And then on the professional side, want to go CT, Christopher Todd. He was I was so immature when I worked at Sharky's. I was a server, and this was back maybe 2013 to 2016. I worked out there. I was working as a server, but I started as an expo, and I moved to being a food runner, and he kind of saw that, the effort, and he liked my, I guess, swagger. And so he moved me to being a server, and I was a terrible person, but he took me under his wing, and I learned so much from him. And I text him every Father's Day, every year. I make sure I send him a Happy Father's Day text, because CT was my dad in that restaurant. Like, I looked up to him. I went to him if I had a problem. If there was an issue at work, he would be the one to pull me into his office and talk to me. And there were many. There were many. But CT, just an incredible leader, just an incredible man, and I'm blessed enough that his daughter goes to Mosley, and I get to see him at the games now. It's awesome. I
think you have another professional one. Kyle mentioned him there.
I won't say that name, but I can't say too many bad things about the opportunities that I got under that man, because I have been on the field at a college football game in an NFL stadium twice, My feet have touched the Superdome, like the field in the Superdome.
Able to bring me.
Yeah, my feet have touched the field at Everbank Stadium. My feet have been 30 feet away from Coach K right before a Duke Tennessee game in the Sweet 16. I've been on the track at Daytona.
The opportunities.
I've shaken hands with Larry Fitzgerald, Mike Norvell, Blippy, who was like the most nervous I've ever been to talk to a human being. Blippy, because of the opportunities that I got from working there. So I'll never publicly bash that man. Even though things were pretty nasty, not really concerning me, but people that I'm very close with, the way that all kind of fell out there. But I got to do just incredible things because of that man. So I'll never talk bad about him publicly.
Real quick,
Go ahead.
It's so bizarre. Nick Finch chimed in. Nick Finch is when I was at UWA, he was an intern. I called him my pledge or whatever. I hope he's still watching because Nick, this is Kyle. Kyle, you're basically my Nick Finch right now because he's a formal Kyle of mine.
Well, I don't know if that's good. Nick, am I in trouble?
I feel like you two need to meet. Yeah.
I would love to meet Nick. Yeah. Shout out to you. Someone else. Jay Maxwell. Who's that?
That would be my brother.
The host of the other podcast.
Yeah.
So he got to hear you talk about him. I was curious as y'all were talking. Is that something that you've been able to share with those men in your life? Have you been intentional about having a conversation to say, hey, you've really made an impact on me, and I'm thankful for that.
Not enough.
My grandfathers know. They've both passed. My pawpaw, my grandfather on my mom's side passed in 2012, and my grandfather on my dad's side just passed away this past year. But with my dad, yeah, I call him. We talk weekly. I've been having a rough time with work in recent weeks, and I've had frequent conversations with both of my parents, just trying to navigate life, just drawing on the lessons that I've learned from them from day one, and been able to talk things out with them, and obviously them and my wife know me the best, so it's different conversations and getting different perspectives on my problems at that point in time, and my parents are always the one thing I'm very thankful for is that they're anytime I call, they are, if they don't answer within 5 minutes, they're calling me back.
Yeah, not enough. I do try to, and I think these two can attest to that. I do try to make sure I show my appreciation for people, especially like now in life, like as I've grown a little bit older, because my love language is affirmation. So I know that I love when people tell me, like, number one, that I'm doing a good job, and number two, that I'm like loved and needed. Those are like my
Sorry
things.
about that.
You're can't relate.
Can't relate.
No, but so I feel, and you can feel free to correct me, like, but I'll also call you out. But I do try to show as much appreciation to people, and of course, I don't think you can ever show enough for those people. But I think I'm.
But yeah, I think just saying it. I'm not sure. My friend is in California and he's not watching. But,
liberal.
But I think he would be surprised to hear me say that, and that's convicting to me. I mean, I've never just called him and out of the blue and said, "Hey, let me just tell you." This.
That's a good question.
That's a great thought.
It'll definitely, when you're the receiving end of that, it'll do enough. Because I have a little sister too. I'm a middle child. I can't remember what. I think I was in college or something, and my sister's always been a grade behind me, and so she was graduating, and I moved off to Troy, and I can't remember what it was. She wrote it down or something, but she had asked, my mom had asked my sister, like, who do you look up to the most, or who has been most influential? And she said me. It blew me away. I'm like, I've done nothing but badger you and pick on you.
Terrorize.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not the one to suck up to. So she had no reason to make it up, but But it'll catch you off guard when you realize, like, wow, people are watching, people are paying attention. When you feel like you're just kind of flying under the radar.
How much older is your brother than you?
About just a little under 3 years.
Okay.
About 3 years.
I thought earlier you said a year. I was like, dude, if 3 years, that was a fun 3 years in that house, dude. Like rabbits.
Moving on.
Great segue. Matt, as a pastor, people look to you for guidance all the time. I've done it. I know other people do it all the time. So where do you go when you need wisdom or strength?
It's a great question. AI now, right? Just get no.
Yeah, ChatGPT will talk me up.
Just the AI therapy. No, it is a really good question because there is this tension when you're a pastor of a church where there is a deep desire of mine to be transparent with the church. I don't have everything figured out. I certainly have struggles that I'm still dealing with. And I want the church to know that. I want them to I want to model vulnerability and authenticity to the church. And at the same time, every professor will tell you need to be careful about how much you share with the church or with people in the church. Now, so there's that tension there. So it's a good question. I do have some friends that go to church with me that are able to hear from me, hey, I'm struggling with this. I need you to, give me advice, help me, hold me accountable, whatever it may be. But also, I've got a younger brother who I really respect his wisdom and his spirituality, his emotional intelligence, and I'm able to talk to him a lot. Also, my wife and I, through some really difficult times in our marriage, have gotten to a place where we can be fully transparent with one another. I mean, we can tell each other anything and know that it's going to be safely heard, safely received with grace. And so my wife is probably the main person that I lean on when I need strength, wisdom, things like that.
That's actually a perfect segue into the next question, because it is what has marriage taught you about yourself that you really didn't know until you got married. So I'll let you continue on that train.
Well, I think that the first thing that it taught me was how selfish I am, right? Like when you're not married and then you get married, you quickly realize, wow, I am so self-absorbed. And now I've got another person that is pointing that out to me. And even if it's not with words, right? Even if it's just with that. But for me also, so I know y'all talked about the Enneagram a while back. So I'm a 9, which is a peacemaker, like Lacey when she talked about it. And the internal message of that a 9 receives when they're young. I don't know how I received this, but it was, hey, your opinion about things doesn't really matter. And so this is awful. Like, I mean this confessionally. My wife is probably listening, and she knows this. But it took me 2 or 3 years in our marriage before I believed that my actions could have a negative consequence on another person. And so when my wife and I would get into an argument, and I obviously had done something wrong, and she was upset about it, I thought, she doesn't really care. It doesn't really bother her. This is a game, and she now has a leg up. And it took me a long time to realize, no, that's not true. That's not true. Like, my actions can actually have a negative impact on somebody. And that was when I realized that, and realized what for 2 or 3 years I had been thinking and the way that I had been looking at conflict. I mean, it caused a lot of self-reflection. And so to realize these internal messages that I had just taken for granted, and so that was helpful. There's things that I did not expect, but certainly was helpful.
I'm still learning on a daily basis, obviously.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, there's not a book. There's not a pamphlet for that.
I figured it out.
No. One of the main things, it sounds funny when I'm gonna say it, but one of the main things that really has stuck out to me, and Kyle can kind of attest to it after knowing my wife and whatnot, but how messy of a person I am. because it's like you can literally walk into our room and my half the room has like a couple stacks of clothes, like a basket and some softball stuff stacked up, and then her side's just immaculate.
Are you a hamper liver?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And she gets on to me all the time about it. But it's just one of those things that I never really thought about until I'm trying to break that habit about, oh, I'm pulling my clothes out of the dryer. Let's go ahead and fold it. I have a few minutes. Let's fold it and put it away, because it's a whole lot easier to take care of one basket of laundry rather than 3. But still working on that. But yeah, it's just little things, being self-absorbed and being selfish and only thinking about yourself for such a long time that once you have someone else in your life that the original thought of, oh, the man is the leader of the house, you have to lead and sacrifice and do this just because you're the man of the house. There were a lot of times that I didn't have the answer, and I didn't know, and it took a lot in me to just look at her and go, hey, what do you think? And that was when I really started to see our marriage like take off, because it was less of me trying, not very well trying to lead, but we took it together as a team, and that's when everything really, really changed.
I don't know what y'all are talking about. Marriage is literally the easiest thing I've ever done.
Next to being a mother.
Next to being a mother. But seriously, y'all both hit it. Selflessness is the thing, and I think a little bit what you're talking about, Matthew, is, with my wife, I've been so blessed with a wife that and I'm learning a lot from her. We're talking about all those male influences, particularly. She's been such a big influence on me, and just watching how she handles things. She's such, watching her be so long suffering, and now dealing with a toddler and Gabby, it's like she's got 2 kids now. It's like, it's one, realizing when I'm just, being a baby and she's putting up with it, and I see the selflessness in her, and that I've learned a lot from that. But to go a little deeper, and you kind of hit on it too, as far as being a leader and all that. If you look at it spiritually, one word that comes up, and Lacey and I have been discussing this, the whole submissive, wives being submissive to the husband, kind of dynamic. We look at that as a duty of a wife to a husband, but we've been discussing it. It's a duty to two people, to 2 individuals. It's as much a duty to the husband as it is to the wife, and it's something that I'm fortunate to have a wife, and blessed to have a wife that takes that serious. But at the same time, like, I take it serious. If she's going to submit to me, I want to be somebody worth submitting to, even though I'll never attain, full worthy of that. But at least being mindful of it, and knowing that, I'm not going to lead her as far as dictate every aspect of her life. We're fortunate enough that we're on the same page on a lot of things. It's like rotisserie chicken, set it and forget it kind of thing. I don't have to really worry about it. But, but I do take, at least try to take stock of what's important, what's not important, and really, take the lead on that. But I'm also blessed that, she wants me to take the lead on that kind of thing. So, like, sum it up, this whole submissive thing that applies to the men, the husband as much as the wife. And, it's something for us to take to heart as well.
Yeah, I mean, you guys pretty much hit all the points. Rachel's very, very supportive of me. I know we made the joke earlier about the entrepreneurial ship and all the things, all the projects that I do have going on, but she doesn't complain about it. She just doesn't. So to kind of just maybe be a little bit different than the selflessness, the leadership, it's taught me that it's okay to let your guard down. It's you know, having somebody that I can cry to, like, and just let myself go. And I tend to hold myself together really well. And then I'll tell her, hey, I need to cry tonight. I will literally tell her, like, hey, I'm just letting you know I need to cry tonight. I'm just going to have to let it happen because it's been balled up in here all day. So, you know, that's a big one, being able to let my guard down.
That's a really good one.
Trying to, you know, you can be vulnerable. You can let somebody else in there.
I'm sorry. I just want to
Go ahead. No, you're good. Go ahead.
I don't know if it's a 4 thing or a middle child thing or a guy thing, but like even when I at church or something or Bible study or wherever, whenever I'm like speaking my mind or even like here, I always walk away feeling like a little empty because it's like, man, I just exposed myself in some way, or I'm scared like I might have but I don't have that with her, with my wife, and I'm very glad and fortunate to have that because it's somebody I can trust. And I don't have to feel empty for feeling vulnerable, around.
You feel
That's such
almost
a great answer.
more full.
Yeah.
Actually, truthfully, it's nice.
It's nice having someone there that's genuinely there to like listen and help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That and sometimes helping isn't coming up with a solution. It's just listen.
And call it what it is too, right? They have stake in the game, right? They like your success matters to them, just like theirs matters to you. And that's not obviously 100% of the reasons, because there is there's obviously the biggest reason is the genuine love and care, but you know, they need you. They need you at the top of your game, and you need them at the top of their game. And the only way that you're going to do that is to help each other, is to be there for each other when you're not at the top of your game, to help the other person climb back up that ladder.
Yeah.
Ben, you obviously read a lot. You think deeper than most people. You've been reading notes on your wrist the whole time. Lacey.
She is a good wife. She is submissive.
She is beautiful, and I love her so much. GoatBearLobster.com. Please visit.
Get your shirt today.
But so I got a bone to pick with you on that. Actually,
all right.
Can we get fat boy sizes?
Yeah.
I was gonna buy the Ted Lasso shirt.
Oh yeah.
And it was only going up to 2X.
Just say the word. I got you.
I need 3X.
I'll open that sucker up.
I need 3X.
And same thing. If you ever get an idea, because obviously we're very niche as far as whatever comes to mind, we'll slap it on a shirt or a coffee mug in a second. So you ever get an idea, send it to me. We'll mass produce that baby.
You had the idea of a little collab line.
Yeah.
With 2X?
3X. I'm a 3. I'm a thick boy.
Yeah.
Working on it.
Mostly because of the height, actually, is the 3X thing.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'll open that up for sure.
All right. But with that in mind, I know you like to read a lot, books, and I mean you've got a little side project with that. I'm not sure I should. Okay.
Yeah, that's been going on for a few years now.
Ben's book journal.
Yeah, it started off because been reading so many books, but I have a terrible memory. So I'll highlight, take note, and take notes of all the books I'm reading, and then it started off as just it still is just more of a personal thing of where I can access. I read this somewhere, and I can just pull up the website, and I can search and find the note, the quote, or whatever. So yeah. Wow. Benjamin's Book Journal. It's on Instagram too. I just opened it up for all you college kids that need references. I cited everything. So, and if you need a lesson on how to cite, Chicago style is my preferred. So, if you're in MPA, you're out of luck.
Books that have like any books that have like shaped you.
Yeah. Yeah, I was. That's tough because there's so many good ones. We were talking about this the other night. Our favorite books. I guess for this question, I narrowed it down to one. So in college, one thing about me, in college I studied actually linguistic anthropology. Wake up. No, linguistic anthropology. It's like I know it sounds very boring. But it's like, how does language influence behavior and behavior influence linguistic relativity? It's really, I don't know. I may be the one person that likes it or gets excited about it, but
the big word. Drew's Googling the words.
I was finding Benjamin's book journal.
So yeah, there's two guys in particular that led the field, or kind of started the field. Edward Sapir and Benjamin Lee Whorf. They created this hypothesis of, does your language influence your behavior, or does behavior influence your language? If you just think about that for a second, you'll go deep into like, something we take for granted, language and words and meaning. It's all around us. And I'm starting to hear more and more people kind of talk about those concepts, but there's an actual field for it, linguistic anthropology. So the guy, Benjamin Lee Whorf, he never really published. He had a lot of works that he was working on, which I can attest to. I feel like I could connect to. I've got so many things I'm working on, books I'm writing and trying to finish up and all this. But he actually went to school to be a chemist, and he was working as I forgot when he was doing, but he was in chemistry and all this stuff. But just, he was so fascinated with the Bible, and he wanted to learn Hebrew just as a personal passion. And so he focused on, he went deep into this field and started taking classes just as a hobby kind of thing. And so one of his colleagues came behind him, and after he died, collected all his work, put it together. It's called Language, Thought, and Reality. It's one of the few things that he has that he actually published. Benjamin Lee Whorf. So like, just having like, look at, cause like, you and I work together. We work, in the insurance industry, and something I'm not, I guess, particularly super passionate about. It's just something that we do, but to look to somebody that had such a, kind of a hobby that turned into a passion, he ended up setting the stage for a field. I really feel like I connected with that one, but with him and all his writings and everything, it's very interesting to like, just as a, like, when you think about something, right? I'll use this example as just a quick example to kind of like fill this in. You put me on with the preacher. You really handicapped me. So don't take this the wrong way. You think about our culture, right? So the French, well, when you think about the French culture, what do you think of? You think food?
Surrender.
The French actually have a word for something stuck in your teeth. Like, I can describe something stuck. I don't have a single word for it. Yeah. So culture, the language is indicative of culture in a lot of ways. And you think about, how many words do we have? And this may sound crass. How many words do we have for sex in the English?
Yeah.
In our American English culture. My vulgar, non-vulgar, my best count has been like 19. I can think of 19 words.
To 50 more were there.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that's a low number. Now think of how many words do we have for love. And love can even apply to the other ones.
Yeah,
so
right. Yeah.
Wow.
I feel like that's a great gateway example to, because linguistic anthropology, nobody cares. Yeah, snore fest. But when you start thinking in those terms, like you start, and especially like, not to sound conspiratorial or anything like that, but it's like you start to realize like how easily and quickly you can be manipulated, and how many arguments and debates can boil down to just failing to define the terms. I have another story for that, but I won't keep going. But anyway.
For me, it was the Magic Tree House. It was just, it had pictures. It was good. It was perfect.
James and the Giant Peach.
Yeah, right. Enough pictures in it for me to know what's going on without having to read.
Yeah.
What was the question? Sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, the book.
The Quran.
Read that one, by the way.
There was this one at the gas station that had a cover on it. I had to get my uncle to buy it. I can't segue into another. All right. I guess
Matthew's a big reader too. Oh, I didn't know if you were moving on questions. But
no, you're good.
You're the only one that question was for. You're the only ones doing linguistic anthropology. Yeah. No, actually, I didn't know, Ben, that you had studied that, and that that illuminates so much for me.
He's got a friend that has come and I guess guest preached or whatever for us a few times. I can never remember his name. I always call him
Mark Bauer,
but I always call him Mouse Rat because
Yeah.
he looks exactly like Andy
He looks
Okay.
like
from
Chris
Parks and
Pratt,
Rec.
Yeah.
So Mouse Rat, he and I, because he teaches along the same lines,
Yeah.
and some of the stuff he says is like it's along the same lines. It's amazing guy. Yeah.
Do you have a book?
Do you have
Do I have a book that has? I mean,
He has to say the Bible. I mean, that's a loaded question.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if I have a book. I have authors. There's
I
there's
feel
an
like, yeah.
author named Henry Nouwen that really challenges the view of leadership. Even as we talked about it in marriage, you know, I would say, Drew, that my marriage, it seems like works a lot more like yours.
Yeah.
We are an equal partnership, and we try to lean on our giftedness more than like some assigned roles. And Henry Nouwen speaks to that, I guess, in his writing on leadership, because what he would say is that if you're going to say I'm the leader in any sort of relationship, what you're saying is I am taking the bottom rung. And you mentioned that, like you said when you said, you know, I'm going to lead, I'm going to serve, I'm going to, like, that's exactly right. Like, leadership truly looks like serving, sacrifice. It is not the authority.
Mhm.
It is I am the first one in to serve. I'm the first one in to sacrifice.
Yeah.
And that's been really impactful for me.
So I put this question in there for you to ask us because it feels weird for me to ask. Do you have the doc pulled up?
Yeah, which one?
Number 8. I'm gonna skip around a little bit after this one so we can kind of.
For those of you who are dads, how did becoming a father change the way you see manhood?
Read that like very intently, by the way.
Is that a bad thing?
No, I'm just kidding. It sounded like you were struggling to get through it.
No.
For those who, it was like, remember Up when he's like, "Dear Mister."
No, I was never good at popcorn reading. Leave me alone. Move on. Answer the question.
I'll start on this one. Patience is obviously the big one. On being a dad, there have been times where I've just wanted to absolutely bicycle kick Carson through the wall.
Last week.
Yeah, this week, yeah.
During
Yeah.
the show last week.
Yeah, during the show, yeah, absolutely. No, patience is a big one, man. That is actually, for me, that's the biggest one, and that's the one I'll kind of latch onto, just because for so much of my life I had this short temper, and the fuse was, you barely had time to light it before you can get away, and it's really been a test for me, and sometimes I still struggle with it, but to know that you can't go after this person like you would have 10 years ago. You just can't. He's a kid. He's vulnerable. He needs you to be his dad. So that's been patience would be the big one for me.
It's interesting that you said that. I had a friend when my wife was pregnant with our first kid. I had a friend that said, "All right, when this baby's born, while it's still a newborn, you are going to have violent thoughts about this kid, and the only thing that separates you from being a criminal is you're not going to act on them."
Right, yeah.
And then I just kind of laughed. I thought he was making a joke. And then you're so very tired, right? And you're putting your kid, trying to get him back to sleep in the middle of the night. And I remember laying him down one time, and immediately he woke back up. And I was like, there's the violent thoughts. I'm just so tired and angry that you're not staying asleep.
I think that's the
Right.
part of it that nobody wants to talk about.
Absolutely,
So I'm glad
yeah.
you're bringing that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, and you mentioned just how vulnerable children are. I think for me, the challenge became, how am I going to be emotionally available for this kid? Like, this kid needs me to be his dad, and that means that he's going to need me to be emotionally available for him, and to be in a place where I'm emotionally mature enough to respond to his problems and his struggles and his questions in a way that's actually helpful. And that responsibility just felt heavier once I had a kid. I mean, I knew kind of that that was going to be a part of being a dad. But once you have the child, and especially when they start to talk and they start to bring problems, like that responsibility to be emotionally available for your kids felt heavy, but also really important. It was really important.
I don't know. I don't feel qualified to speak on this just yet. I'm only three years in.
Dude, but you've been through the. I mean, 3 is that you're in the tough time
It's
now.
taught me a lot about potty training. That's where we're at right now. But as far as like, I guess what's throwing me off is the manhood part. Is like, I don't know what it's taught me about being a man or manhood or anything like that. I do what I have observed and noticed is what it's taught me about, like we've been talking about, selflessness and love. And because it's like a new achievement has been unlocked. And it was like I've never had something come about so instantaneously. And I've told this story before a few times, is, you know, in that waiting room, it's like, you know, like our friend Tyler asked me, you know, what's it like having a kid, and, you know, the best way. But yeah,
your friend.
Our workplace proximity partner, junior adjuster, Tyler, he asked me, you know, what's it like having a kid? And, you know, just like the best way I could put it is like, you know, we've talked about all these relationships, like grandfathers, parents, brothers, like close friends. In all of those relationships, there's in some degree, in some form or fashion, there's some, you know, instance of hesitation and reserve of, I don't want to come on too strong. I don't want to hurt this person. I don't want to be hurt. I don't want to be vulnerable and exposed. But when it comes to my daughter, and I think, you know, and maybe it's a father-daughter thing. I can't imagine having the same feelings for a son. I might be wrong, but, you know, it's like none of those reservations and holdbacks mattered one bit. The second in that delivery room, when I saw her for the first time, like all bets are off. I love this girl, and there's nothing she's gonna do to stop that. There's nothing anyone can do to stop that. Obviously, you have the fears of, as far as like, I have an extreme phobia now of choking. Like I'm terrified of choking because I'm not fully, you know, confident that I can handle it or, you know, fix it. But other than that, you know, it's like you've unlocked a whole nother level of love and selflessness and emotion that, and like I said, it just it came on for me so fast. Like in that room, in that moment, it just happened.
Just to add to that one, situational awareness has been something that has just completely, like, you think, maybe you and I talked about this, but anytime you go anywhere, you think about what's the worst thing that can happen where we are right now. And you try to look out to make sure that thing can't happen. Like a terrible story, and I hate to bring this up, but literally just an example of you never know is the family at Coconut Creek a couple years ago. Don't know if you know that story. Yeah. If you don't, I don't really want to go into the specifics of it, but there was a family that lost their 2 children at Coconut Creek, and it was like the most freakish thing possible that you would never expect to happen. But so you hear those stories and you see those kinds of things happen. Another thing for me, and I don't know that this necessarily is a lesson, but it's just something that I wanted to bring up tonight. Because for me, I want to be better than my dad was in so many ways, but I also want to be exactly what he was. So being able to take the best and worst of my dad and take the best, apply it, take the worst, and not do it. And I want my son to be able to do that with me. He's going to have to, if that's it, like to be able to grow up one day, take the best of his dad for his kids, and take the worst of me and get rid of it. And his kids will do it too, and it's a continuing trend.
And you touched on it right then and there, because for me, like, I'm not a father, but speaking on it as a son who my dad kind of did exactly what you just laid out. My dad literally, whenever we bought our house, whenever we moved here, the first words out of my dad's mouth were, you guys are way ahead of where me and your mom were at your age. And I was like, what are you
In your
talking?
face.
I was like, Dad, what are you talking about? And he goes, well, this, and he like laid it out. He laid it out where they were financially, where they were. My dad was working at a restaurant, not saying it's a bad job, but I had a full 40-hour week job that I was Monday through Friday. So it's like, I know.
Got a Top Golf employee over here.
I said she's not a server.
Fair. It's still kind of, it's halfway a restaurant.
Halfway a restaurant, but it's
Not a real job,
it's
yeah.
but I was having my dad tell me that I was so far ahead of where they were, and I was like what, like, okay, like, yeah, I might be better. And he goes, all parents want to see is their kid do better than what they did.
Yep.
And hearing my dad say that really put it into perspective for me, because I know my wife's parents think the same way. And it's just, it really changed my eyes, changed my thought process on how to go about my life and just set up for the future from that perspective as well.
And a little bit to your point, Kyle, one thing I've found that, because I'm like that too, there's obviously great things about, my grandfather, my dad, who I've kind of danced around with my brother and my grandfathers, but my dad, there's a lot of great things that I want to emulate, but there's also things that I don't want to do. I get what you're saying, but I've also found like the more I try not to be, the more I hear him come out. That was such a John Maxwell thing to say, like your John Maxwell show and you got to pull back.
Well, my dad was almost a pro in everything. So that's a little inside joke. We'll tell you guys about that one day.
Every now and then, Michaela will look at me and go, "Okay, Dwayne," and I'm like, "Hey, am I really being my dad right now? Like, what's going on?"
It's gotten so bad. My wife will start saying my John Maxwell, like for her, she's like my John Maxwell show. So he's even rubbed off on her.
All right, so there's three more that I definitely wanted to make sure we hit. I do want to ask you, Matthew, because burnout it's so hard as a father, as a man. But in your position, I know that your job can take a lot out of you, because there's just parts of it that people don't see behind the scenes. Obviously, you deal with a lot of things that people don't see every day. So how do you protect yourself and your family from that burnout?
Yeah, I'm not sure that I'm doing that really well right now. Like, to be honest, I'm not sure I'm doing that real well. I think most jobs are hard. I do think that when you're in a church, there are people that will check on you and say, when you're a pastor of a church, they'll check on you and say, hey, how are you doing? Are you being healthy in your work-life balance and things like that? But most people's jobs are hard. There is some added emotional difficulty or spiritual difficulty when you're dealing with people's problems a lot and things like that. I'll tell you what's been hugely impactful for us, and it goes back to your opening day baseball joke earlier. We Sabbath, like we legit Sabbath on Saturdays, and we don't do any work. Not my wife or I, not our kids. Like there is no responsibilities, no expectations at all that anything is accomplished in any way. And anything that is producing in any way is all just a free choice if you decide to do that. We started doing that probably a year and a half ago out of a necessity because we weren't doing well with work-life balance, and that has been hugely impactful. And I think that really it's something that's been lost in our culture, in our world. When it's available, if it's available to you to Sabbath, I would highly recommend it. We take a break from our phones. It's just super
Healing.
super helpful and rejuvenating for us.
I like that.
To go back to a question you asked, Matthew, is like, do we tell people, those people that influence us, do we tell them how much we appreciate them? One thing, and this isn't me trying to make up for lost ground earlier in the show, but like I do try to express that to you, especially in your role and position, because, I can't even imagine, like Kyle said, there's so much that you have in your role that you deal with that goes unseen. But also, we in our culture, we think about, with all our differences and everything, we just need to come together. We need to find common ground. We need to find ways to come together. And one thing that I love that we've been able to do at our church is bring together. We have such a diversity of, economic diversity, political diversity, and even spiritual diversity, theological diversity. We have so much of that, and everybody seems like to be wanting that. But there's a hard reality that comes with that, and that's getting along with one another, and especially when you have to, stand up week after week and in front of this large group of diverse thought, and kind of walk that line. I feel like from my perspective, I feel like you do a really good job at that, and I can imagine all the, afterward, all the toll that you have to do with, dealing with any kind of blowback. But I think that's something we all have to kind of realize. I want to show appreciation. I want to make sure I said that, but also realize the gravity of some of this stuff. Like, we want everyone to get along. We want everybody to come together, but you really think of the reality and what that brings about. That means getting along with people that you disagree with, and learning how to coexist, for lack of a better word, with one another.
Yeah, and I would say it's not, I would go further than that. Thank you, first of all, for
so I don't have to come forward someday.
No,
You still do.
I haven't
You
known
still
him long
do.
enough. I don't know that.
But no, I think it's even deeper than just let's get along. Like, let's find a way to coexist. I think that's important. That's like baseline. But I think the more important, more impactful move is to start to say, hey, we won't grow. We won't grow spiritually. We won't grow emotionally. We won't grow deeper ourselves if we surround ourselves with people that agree with us, right? Because then all you're doing is you have an echo chamber affirming what you already think, and you're wrong about some things. All of us are wrong about some things. Yeah. We only learn that we're wrong about some things by listening to people who think differently than us. And so it's more than just coexist, right? It's seeing I need diversity in order to get closer to truth and to grow deeper.
That's definitely one thing that I've just discovered, with our group is I've grown more. You think about, I keep, you think in spiritual terms, like, we're to be fishers of men. Christians are called Jesus calls people to be a fisher of men. And, I used to take that as I'm going to go out and I got to change everyone. But I started to learn, and especially with such a diverse group, that, I'm learning a lot from others. I have a lot to learn from others, and it's a humbling thing, and just it really does change your approach to so much, not spiritually especially.
Yeah. I can't imagine. I just can't. It's because I thought about it when you came up to me last Sunday, and I'm like, this guy, to myself for a while, and you didn't make me feel this way, but I was like, man, he deals with. I'm not the only person that does that. There's no shot. There's no way. So I know that you carry the burden of your job. You carry the burden of the one good thing about the diversity is that everybody is there for one purpose. Whether, it might be from a different perspective, but there is one. Everybody there is coming there for one reason, and that's for God, for Jesus. But I love that it is more of an open forum. I do want to say that. I love that it's a group discussion, and it's just so wide open. But you carry that weight, but you also carry the weight of every person that walks into that sanctuary every week, and especially the ones that come back. And the first day you came up to us and you had a conversation with us, and so I like I told you, I latch when I find those people, I latch. And so, like, my problems are yours, but you carry that, and I know it's not easy. So I wanted to ask you about that. I was just texting Drew, like, man, like, we're kind of running long here, so I have to cut a couple questions out. But one of the ones I wanted to make sure that we got in, and this is that if you're comfortable question. Just talk about a time where you felt like you were coming up short as a man, a husband, a father? If you're comfortable with going into that.
For me, it's been probably this past month. It's just been rough time with work and not really being able to do what I can. I haven't felt fulfilled at work, being able to accomplish things. I'm the great tandem of a people pleaser and a perfectionist. So you add those two things together, and things go wrong whenever you're trying to put up drapery or a shade, and something goes wrong, and immediately you have to tell the homeowner, hey, I can't put this up today, or I've got to come back. And they're like, oh, okay. I really wish this would have been done today, or I really wish you had all the right parts, or blah, 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 this and that. It might seem like a blip on the radar to most people because it's drapery. It's not life or death. They lived with it they lived without it for a couple of weeks. They can live without it for a couple more. But for me, I take it so much to heart that no matter if it was the manufacturer's fault, the designer's fault, my fault, whoever's fault it was, I take it so much to heart that I not only let it affect that job, I bring it to the next job and the next job. And it got so bad that I was already I was driving to a job, looking at the work order, trying to get a game plan of what I was going to do, and I was already picturing myself disappointing them on the way to a job. And I was like, I called my wife. Unfortunately, she was in the shower, but then I called my mom and my dad and just talked with them. And I was on the verge, in the middle of talking to them, driving to a job, and on the verge of throwing up, just burst into tears, driving, just talking to my mom, listening to her, and talking to my dad, and just having. And it even goes back to the very first question that you asked. The things that my mom said, the main thing that stuck out to me was she named both of my grandfathers, both of my grandmothers, both of my parents, and she was like, you have their blood in you. The blood that showed you that you can overcome anything and you can figure things out. Whatever problems arise, there's always a way to figure out how to make it work. That blood is inside of you as well. You're not just some guy that's just off the street going, yep, okay, I'm going to try and figure it out. And you know what's going on. And so it was just, it's been a rough mental couple of weeks for me, trying to figure out, and my wife has definitely stood by my side 100%, being there. That day, one of the worst days, I literally called her. I'm leaving work. My day ends at 5. I'm leaving work at 7. Driving back, and she called me. She was like, hey, what do you want to do for dinner? I said, I'm done with today. And she goes, do you have a bad day? I said, yes, I am just done with today. I don't know. I think I have leftovers in the fridge. I'm going to take care of that. I'm going to go in. I'll do that. Do you want me to pick up something on the way? She goes, no, don't worry about it. I've got an idea. I get home. She met me at the front door. There was dinner on the table. She met me with a hug. We just stood there for a solid 2 minutes, just hugging me, making sure I was okay, taking care of me. And then she goes, hey, go ahead and have a seat. I've already queued up. We watch NCIS. We're 75 years old, so we still watch NCIS. But she already had it queued up. She had my location, so she knew I was getting close. But she was ready to go, and she was just like, you don't have to think. Just sit down, eat. And it's just it kind of how we had talked about earlier, Matt. Our marriage works in tandem. We're a team. And neither one of us feel like we wear the pants. We both know that at the end of the day, we can lean on each other. And the biggest piece of advice, marriage advice, that I always give out to my friends, as well as I said it a couple weeks ago on the show, marriage is not 50-50. Some days it's 80-20. Some days it's 40-60. Whatever, if your partner needs that extra help, be that extra help.
Yeah.
They will be it for you. And once you find that person that you're willing to go over that 50% for, that's your person. That's who you were meant to be on this earth for.
Yeah, I think what you're saying, something similar to something I've heard or read, that it's not 50-50, it's 100 and 100.
Yeah.
Lacey,
And-
don't listen to him. I got a good thing going, guys. Don't
I was
ruin
gonna
this.
say, dinner on the table when I get home is the expectation.
Me and Kyle have a good thing going. Don't you screw this up.
But some days you don't have 100 to give, right? Like some
Exactly.
days you have 20 to give or less than, and your spouse is still like, in those days you hope your spouse meets you there.
Yeah.
Obviously for you that happened, your spouse met you there with 100%, right?
Exactly. But yeah, that it's just been and still to this day, like I said, I'm talking to my parents weekly, talking to my wife daily, but just trying to figure out like what my mom put it as if you think about it as a tree, it's behavioral correction. If you say, "Oh, I never put away my laundry, I'm going to do better at that," you're just cutting the branch off a tree, but you're not getting to the root of the problem.
Yeah.
I like that. Ben?
Yeah. A couple things similar to what you were saying when you said you got that blood, of your parents, your grandparents. I think that's an interesting way of looking at it. I've looked at it similarly, like the voice. Like I can still hear my grandfather, the one that taught me how to fish and everything, loved to tease, and that's how I was trained. Was, boy, you better pick that fish up, don't you? You handle that fish, and especially when we're working on something, he'd tease you and taunt you, but he still loves you, and he still showed that. So like when I'm doing something, like I was cutting branches, we had a tree by our shed, and I was just trying to cut the branches overhanging the shed, and I'm up on the ladder, got the chainsaw, and then I got some just out of reach. I'm on the top rung of the ladder, chainsaw over my head, and I can still hear his voice. Oh, boy, you think that's a good idea? I don't think that's but it's enough to kind of catch my attention, and so you have the blood, you have that voice, those voices that linger and kind of keep you in check. They're still there, but also like what you're talking about, you're taking things to heart, which I feel like I've gotten away from a little bit in a good way, not taking, because I used to be like that. I think Hurricane Michael fixed that. I've struggled with empathy ever since Hurricane Michael, just because when you deal on such a large scale, it'll take a toll. But one thing that I've struggled with is getting too focused, because I'm all about efficiency, and Lacey, my wife, she calls it my itchy brain. I have to finish things. I can't leave things undone. But I've started, and I'd realize it. She's brought it to my attention that, and I've noticed I get too focused. I get too narrowly minded of, okay, we're going to do this, got to do this, got to do this, got to do this, instead of being, and there's intentionality to that, but being intentional in a way of enjoying, it's not just from getting from point A to point B, but that road from point A to point B, enjoying those moments. Notice like these last couple of years, especially with a 3-year-old, the time has flown by, and I've realized I've got to stop and start appreciating and enjoying these moments, and not just trying to get to the next thing. Okay, we get potty training done. Now we got to focus on this, but just enjoying and going with it, and just it's really tough, especially with, like I said, my itchy brain where I can't leave things undone. I gotta focus. It's so hard to shift gears sometimes, but that's been the thing that I'm learning right now, as far as that goes.
Yeah, so the question is a time when we felt like we were coming up short as a husband or father. Yeah, in 2019, I had to come to terms with several years, a few years of being just not intentional about my own emotional health, spiritual health, integrity, and it just kind of all like like washed over me unasked for one day, and I had to go to my wife and confess some things and bring a lot of like pain into my marriage, and but because it was I had to reckon with that I was coming up short as a person. And that brought a lot of struggle and pain into our marriage. I remember praying, God, just get us back to normal. And I will say, I will never pray that prayer again. Like I don't think that my bad decisions or bad, just lack of intentionality in my growth in life was of God's doing. But God moved into that and started to work. To bring about something that was better than our normal, right? Our normal is what got me into that spot. And so we had several months of very, very difficult work to do in our marriage and in my own life. And but we started to see God's healing in that, and we got to a better place than we've ever been. But it took admitting that I was not doing very well at life.
Yeah. I think that's always the first step, isn't it? I mean, it goes back to the vulnerability thing, which is, just huge. For me, we're living in it, right? Mm. Like it's the moment, like right now. You guys, I'm pretty open on the podcast about everything. Like we got a pretty hard deadline on either buying this or getting out, or starting the process. We don't have to own it by that deadline, but I like to create that fake, like, you guys understand what I'm saying. Like if I tell myself it has to be that, then it has to be that.
The expectation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we're trying to do that. We're working our tails off. We're getting better, and then boom, my car is done. We're on borrowed time. My hazard light came on today. That was a little meltdown.
Now came on. Where's it been?
Yeah.
Does it not know what's going on?
I noticed as I was driving it today, it was a little more shaky.
I think there might be something wrong with your car.
Dude, yeah. I think maybe so. I noticed as I was driving it today, it's a little more shaky than usual. I'm like, whoa, well, you need to get that thing in. We might delete this episode so that the dealership doesn't hear that. But
not that car, another car.
Or the insurance company.
So was 2 weeks ago. And unfortunately, it came to a head as I was walking into the office. I dropped my car off. We dropped it off on a Wednesday night after church. We took one car. I took Rachel to work because the shop is our buddy Chris Purser's shop, which shout out to them. Road Mart on 77. No free ads, but go check them out. They do great work, and they're really fairly priced. So Chris took good care of me. I dropped it off Wednesday night, and so Thursday morning took Rachel to work, and I was a little late walking in the door. So by the time I was getting there, Chris is calling me, and he's like, yo, you got a second? I'm like, kind of, but not really. But, because I'm walking into the office 45 minutes late. And he hits me with, dude, your car's done. Your car's screwed. You're on borrowed time. And it's just, so also that week, we found mice in our home. Not like in the house, but like in the garage. Everybody's good. We're good. We found out we have a mouse problem. We got hit with some extra stuff out of nowhere. Financial burden, which that happens to everybody. And then, the house situation was starting to come to a head. And then that was like that just nail. And I remember because it was on a Thursday and we had a show that night. And I was like, I felt so small. Hopeless, helpless, and luckily I had you right there, so I actually texted all you guys that
Told
day.
Him get over it, get back to work.
Dude, suck it up and get money released. I don't care.
Your problems are bad.
You have 6 cases you have to get done today. What are you doing,
dude? I fell apart that day, and so literally right now in this moment, like I'm feeling like, dude, like I got to do more. There's got to be something more I can do because now I've got to get a new car. Or I'm going to end up losing what little value this thing does have, right? But that's going to hurt my debt to income, so I'm going to have to make more money. Well, that means I got to push a little bit harder at work. But I think...
Ben loves to hear that.
I think...
I'm going to slash his tires on my way out.
Please, I need new ones.
They're the best numbers we've had.
Dude, if you cut my brake line,
I'm gonna start pulling wires out.
If there's any left.
but I also think there's some mental thing to that where
I'll fix that check engine light in a minute. Sorry.
engine checked, pal.
Get back to work.
I do think though that there is that we create those situations because if you feel complacent, then you're certainly not going to do good enough. So if you always feel like I don't want to say you should always feel like you're not doing enough. Like that's the wrong way to put it. But I think if you have, Tom Brady said, perfection is unachievable except for one human being that's ever lived. So it's the most fun goal to chase. And I think that's so if you chase perfection, you're never going to stop chasing. And so I think that's kind of what that boils down to.
That's such a real feeling though of we put these expectations, one, the expectation part of, and I've really had to check myself as far as, yes, there's probably more I need to be doing if I'm honest with myself, but I also, part of that is checking the expectations where, and I go back, spiritually, it's like my life is not my own. It's like, what am I supposed to, what should I be learning in this moment? But also like, I got to quit trying to make things work the way I want them and I foresee them working. And a lot of times they start working out a lot better than I could ever imagine. But that whole feeling of I'm not doing enough, that's a real feeling. And it's a tough one.
And something stuck out to me from, we always have those people that we lean on, and someone that I've neglected that I have leaned on as well was Kyle. And he kind of saw it.
Finally. I mean,
it was last week. He texts me. We text like at least 3 to 4 times a week. But it was Monday, March 2nd. We're just talking, and he reaches out to me about some different ideas and trying to figure out what the next steps for here. And
because we were trying to figure, we weren't going to have her for the whole month of March, we thought, right?
Exactly. Trying to figure everything out. And I wasn't necessarily replying to my normal stature. He just calls me out about it. He was like, hey, I know you're working, but I feel some anxiety from the short responses and just a thumbs up. And so that's whenever I just kind of was like, I'm not really feeling like me. But then we started talking about it, and he was honestly being a great friend and just being there for me and helping me out. But I had made a comment, and I literally said, like, I have a good life. What is wrong with me? I have a beautiful wife who loves me and would do anything to make me happy, a good job that pays well. I have a house and 2 dogs. I'm not struggling for food or water. Like, what's wrong? And his response, like, really hit me. And I don't even know if you remember what you replied.
I don't.
Is that my theory on that is that because we have those things, we want to do better than we do, even though we aren't doing bad. And that kind of hit me hard because it's like, I always have the statement, and I use this professionally as well as personally. There's always up. I'm always doing something wrong, but that's a learning block, and there's always up you can go. You're not the best at whatever you're doing. I don't care who you are.
No.
So at the end of the day, there's always better that you can be. And if we're always striving to be better, that's not a bad thing. Mm-hmm. Our minds turn it into a bad thing because we're always like, well, I don't have a place. I don't have this. I don't have that. This person has this. That whenever you start looking at other people, that's when things turn bad. But at some point, you've just got to realize, like, hey, it's less about the journey. Look at it's less about the destination. Look at the journey. Stop and smell the roses.
Yeah.
Miley
It's the climb. But yeah, no, it's just like, the expectations get inflated and can be corrosive. The pressure, and I think this is where you started, the pressure you put on yourself is often a lot more than than the reality of the situation. At least in my experience, that's been the case on
Yeah.
many times. And then, kind of, I guess what you're talking about too is going back to a place of gratitude. When you get to that place, you're not doing enough. What I need to be doing more. I need to be doing more. And I found myself praying over and over again. God fix this. God deliver this. God, and I've started just recently figuring out and understanding that it's look around at come from a place of gratitude and look at all the stuff that you do have. Look at all the prayers that have been answered.
Exactly.
And I don't give that enough due. I don't count my blessings. I don't, I'm always asking and never really considering what all he is doing. And it's like, when you feel like you're drowning and you've been drowning for so long, you fail to realize, actually, I've been treading water. I'm not drowning. I've been treading water. I'm not, out of the water like my expectations, want me to be.
I think a big part of it is also perspective. It takes me back to a story where, because it didn't hit me until later that night, but we were in that same day. Obviously, NDAs and all that stuff, so you can't go too much into detail, but we had a client complaining about only netting $240,000. And I was like, dude, I'll call him right now and I will tell him that money that you're complaining about would fix every problem that I have in my life right now. And so later on, just Drew and I are doing the show that night. It literally hit me as I'm talking. I'm like, dude, how many people can watch this and go, I wish I had a car to complain about, buddy.
Yeah.
So shut up. Like, right? So it's really, perspective is so important. It's
Yeah.
Well, we
and
had that with
it's-
the Kenyan preacher here recently.
Yeah.
Didn't he? I forgot what he said to you as far as like the Western culture, the Western church is like, I don't know, the stuff that they are working on and, trying to get water and a place to stay, stuff that never crosses our mind.
yeah.
Yeah, and $240,000, it might fix a lot of your problems. You would find new problems, right?
Right, yeah, yeah.
And they wouldn't just be like you would discover other problems that you have that money doesn't solve, right?
Of course,
Like
yeah. Or they'd find me, but
Yeah,
more
yeah.
likely. But so me saying that to him, like that's probably a real problem for him. Like losing that little bit of money or only getting that little bit of money. Like that's for the life that he has shaped. That's a big problem. Me losing my car.
$240,000 a lot of money.
That's a big.
Is that how I'm just,
I don't know. Just saying, I could buy the house, buy a new car.
But
I could do quite a bit.
But there was something kind of to sum that all up too that we've been working a lot with Kenya, some connections in Kenya, some churches, and we had one preacher that came over and but I forgot exactly what he said. It was something like we're trying to get to where you all are, where you don't have problems or something like that.
Yeah.
And we're looking at ourselves like we've got plenty, of problems.
What?
He says you're so busy with all of these problems, and none of those are the problems that we have. Like
Right.
Yeah.
We are so consumed with like survival problems that we can't get to the problems that you have.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I can say is there's always someone who has it worse than you.
Yeah.
There's
That's why I keep Kyle around.
there's always, no matter what you are
Job
going through.
security.
I think that's why my friends keep me around in general. Like they're like, dude, it could be worse.
And on the good end of it, there's whatever problems you're going through, there are people in the world that have gone through the exact same thing. And there are people that you have interacted with
Yep.
that have gone through the same thing. So your problems, as much as they feel like just your problems, there are multiple people that are going through the same thing, that ride next to you on the subway, sit next to you on the bus, drive next to you on the highway. Like you're encountering people who are going through the exact same stuff that you were that they're going through.
Absolutely. All right, gonna end this episode with the same way we end every episode every week. I really feel like we could go 3 more hours easily, but Danielle's falling asleep over there.
She got a blanket on and everything. Go Tigers, baby.
But gratitude, and you actually kind of changed this segment last week, and I really am going to use that moving forward. So gratitude is it's a big part of my life, as you guys know. We've had this conversation, so we want to do this every week on the show where we end it with a moment of gratitude for a person, an event, or a thing that happened this week. So, Drew, tell me something good.
There was a client I went to this morning. There was a client I went to this morning. He lives 3 houses down from a client who has been nothing but a very terrible client. And
Never dealt with one of those.
it was everything that I did at that lady's house was wrong. And now she's coming back and saying I did stuff that I never did. And it was just a very bad instance. And she got one of our designers' name from a lady in the neighborhood. Well, come to find out, the guy's house that I went to today, he also got the name for this designer from the same person. Well, through neighborhood word of mouth, they found out how much of a hard time they were having, so they started having second thoughts and everything. But then the person who they got the name from, they told them, "Oh no, this lady's just crazy." And so then whenever I got there, like I knew all this on the front end, so I was told, like, hey, if he brings it up, just leave it alone. Just go in, do your job, do it to the best of your abilities, and move on. Well, I get there and I could tell he was being overly nice because he knew he knew that I had difficult people in the past, especially down the street. But he was overly nice to me. Made sure even helped me pick up trash. Like I'm picking up trash, so thankfully everything at his job ended up going smooth. Everything worked out. Everything turned out great. He loved everything. As I was leaving, I shook his hand. He said, "Thank you. You're the man, Drew." And after I left, I'm going on the way to my next job, and my boss calls me and is like, "Hey, I just got an email from the client you left. He couldn't stop saying how much he loved it. He was so grateful that you came out and you were great. You were so nice and talkative. Like you were great." And I was just like, "Oh, that's exactly what I needed," because yesterday ended on a bad note, and it was just the way that everything has played out. I'm very grateful for that, man. I'm sorry I can't say your name, but
Bill.
But it was.
We all know who you are, Bill.
It was definitely a great experience and a great time and a great way to start off a Thursday, especially leave it at the table Thursday.
Nice.
I mean, I have so much, and I hope the most important one, my wife, which I hope I've kind of displayed that throughout the show. Matthew, very thankful for you too. An example. I guess to
Now I've got to say, Ben.
There's so much pressure. It's not
contractually
fair.
obligated.
Contractually.
You're not my boss here.
And every time I cough, I need spirit fingers.
It's my house.
I told Matt when he walked in, I'm like, dude, he can't be late. This is like, he's not my boss here. It's my house.
My domain.
I think so. Besides all those people, I think the best place I guess I could land is I'm thankful for the struggles. Honestly, I know we're reliving a lot of those and thinking back, even where we started. We the people we worked with that we started off on the wrong foot, but I'm thankful for those struggles because they've molded me to where I am, and I'm also thankful. There's a sense of peace. I don't know if you've gotten there yet. These struggles, the continual struggles that don't seem to ever end. There is a sense of peace that I've started to encounter with it, where it's like it's going back to the treading water thing. I feel like I'm about to drown at any second, but when I realize I've been feeling that way for so long, I realize God's got me. And he's had me this whole time. And so you have this realization and this sense of peace that, okay, he's got me. And, as long as I'm doing everything to the best of my ability, and everything that I feel and know and can discern that is right. At the end of the day, he's gonna, my expectations aside, he's gonna make happen whatever's gonna happen. So, I feel like that's probably the best place to land there. I don't really have one particular thing to point to, but I think we should all just be thankful in some way for that struggle and appreciate those.
Yeah, wouldn't wins be meaningless if you didn't lose first? Like
I don't know. I
there
never
weren't
lost.
losses along the way.
Never lost.
I was taking it to again, Tom. I always come back to Tom Brady, and I hate him because I grew up a Dolphins fan. I just can't stand Tom Brady. Nothing about the
Shut
guy.
up, Drew Brees.
But my goodness,
Hey,
man, the guy
hey.
like so good at what he did. But he says like my 7 Super Bowl wins don't mean as much if I don't lose those 2, right? So you got to lose to enjoy your wins.
In Breezes we trust.
Breezes. Breezes. 1 Super Bowl win. Can't see over the bar. Good for Drew.
The man wins.
He does. Ironically enough, Austin Rigula got me a signed Dante Culpepper jersey, and I'm extremely excited to have it because I love Dante Culpepper. Like I loved him at UCF when he was there,
Yeah.
and I loved him in Minnesota. Did not love him in Miami. Do not love Nick Saban because of Dante Culpepper. We've jumped down a rabbit hole on that one day. That's a whole.
Well,
podcast.
I was about to say Drew Brees to you open up a rabbit hole, something that you can put a whole show. You can thank Drew Brees for the state of college football. Everything comes back to
Yeah.
Drew Brees as we know it.
Yeah.
And it's such a fun game to play.
Dude, we went
of
down
the
a rabbit hole.
What
one day.
ifs? What if Drew Brees goes to Miami?
There's a
Nick
there-
Saban stays at Miami.
there's a
What does college
YouTube
football look like?
there's a YouTube video I watched about like what if it's a guy Dave Dombrowski, I think his name was, but he did
Yeah.
for a while he did the like what the biggest what ifs in
Yeah.
sports, and one of those, I'll see if I can find
I'm
it.
gonna change my answer. I'm thankful to Drew Brees. Roll Tide. Y'all just wish you had a ball bear, Bryant.
Yeah.
Roll Tide.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like Ben. I'm thankful for a lot of
Roll
things. Mostly for the people in my life. Go to a church where I get to work with a lot of great people, great friends. I love my kids. I like my kids too.
That's important.
Yeah. But I'm gonna highlight my wife. She loves line dancing, and she was coming home last night. She went after church. She went out line dancing, and she called me on the way home, and to tell me something. But we just chatted the whole way home.
That's over here somewhere, I think.
It's
right?
at Tees.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
On Wednesdays it's at Tees. Yard Bar on Friday.
Yeah. Okay. I think
Yeah.
that's where my
Yeah.
aunt goes there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Anyway, so she called me to tell me something on the way home, but then we stayed on the phone the entire time and just chatting, not about anything, but just chatting. And when she got home, she said, "I'm like, that was great. Like, I'm just really glad that we like each other enough to just want to talk on the phone while drive home." So, I'm thankful for her.
The comments reset, by the way.
I was gonna say something happened. I saw Lacey.
It doesn't happen every week, but every now and again, it just they reset and then they all roll back through, and we can't stand it. We don't know why it happens, but I did see Lacey's comment with Gabby.
Okay.
She grabbed your phone and said, and she giggled and said, "Dad."
Okay. No, you brought up line dancing. So fun fact, y'all don't know about Lacey. Lacey took clogging when she was little. It was a big thing in Lower Alabama in L.A. So if Lauren
Okay.
ever wants to get into clogging,
Okay, I'll let
the
her know.
little Peanut Princess will help her out. Little Miss Peanut.
Yeah, for me, I'll just bring it full circle back to just a generality and say the people, I mean, everybody in this room, and of course my wife and my best friend Scott, those people that I can go to when I'm not me, because that's always been something for me, is I need to have my support system. And I try not to, you guys, obviously you'll relate to this too. I don't want to take that to my wife, like, because it is her problem too. And we do have to deal with it together. So, and I know she goes through this too. Her and I literally just talked about this. Like, we will deal with it together, but we need to be able to deal with it separately as well. Because professionally, we have to deal with it together. Emotionally, we can't we can't boggle each other down. And I think that's unspoken for the most part, but that's a big thing. So, I texted every single one of you guys that day, and I texted you in different ways. Some of it was well, I didn't have to text you. You were 10 feet from me, but
I heard enough.
I'd never felt so like helpless in my life than I did in that moment. And it was, for some reason, it was just not having an answer, because usually I'm able to just kind of like articulate something and find something deep within, like, okay, well, maybe we could do this. Maybe we could do this. But I literally had no answer in the moment.
Real
and
quick,
it was so
to that, I just want to say, because the going through that moment, I feel like I've gone through that. Not saying like I know exactly what you feel like, but going through it's one thing. Seeing someone go through it will open your eyes, because seeing you go through something like that, when I feel like I've gone through it myself, but seeing it out from an external perspective, man, that was something else. I just wanted to throw that out there. I mean, just if you ever witness it, it gives you a whole fresh perspective on things.
I mean, I felt like I held it together relatively well in the
Okay. Okay. No, you did. I will give you credit there. You did.
Because I was like, dude, I gotta go. But then I sat back, and I actually, Rachel gave me some love for this one too. Like I was like, Ben, I think I'm gonna go. I gotta take a personal day. I gotta get out of here. But then I'm like, well, that doesn't exactly help the situation, does it? Because if I leave, then I'm not getting paid for today, and then that just really, like, when you look at it long term, it's just gonna make it worse.
If you feel like you can put your stamp on the day that you've done everything,
Yeah, yeah, man. I mean, if you feel like you provided enough for the company, then yeah, go ahead.
The old Bennett.
45 minutes late. I'm good to go.
I came out the gate so hot at work too, man. And then I've just been ever since. Just came out too hot. They gave me love in a company meeting in front of the whole company, and then ever since then, I think I've just
never do that again.
Horrible numbers. All right. So first of all, thank you guys for coming on tonight. I hope this was enjoyable for you. I hope this was fun. We went way longer than we usually do, and I feel like there's still so much left to be desired here.
100%.
So we will do this again.
Real quick, one more thing about linguistic anthropology.
So it really started back in 1927.
Well, let me know when you need an NPR show.
It must be a ginger thing. It must be.
I was thinking the same thing. But we didn't even play into the whole Highlander thing. Like, we got to battle it out because there can only be one. But when you start blaming him for being long-winded, I felt great because I'm usually the one that gets in trouble.
Dude, you guys could literally, not even a podcast. You guys could just have a movie.
I'm serious about the NPR thing.
One question each episode.
Not even a question, a word.
What's your favorite color, Drew?
Oh, no, I'm saying our podcast is one question. We're just sitting there. How was your day?
No.
What's your favorite color?
But I
2 hours later.
I do want to say before we end it, I do want to say I am really happy with how many people. I don't know if that number is correct, but
That number's usually low.
yeah, that number's usually low. So I am very thankful to all the people who are watching and have stayed throughout all of this, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. It's the only reason we bring guests on, so it's nice to see it pay off. Finally.
Exactly. We are gracious. We are grateful to you guys, and we are ready to go for the next one.
If you stuck it out, again, hit the share button. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. Make sure you like and follow us on Facebook and Instagram
And GBL.
Yep. Go to. I was just about to get there. Drew, don't take away my steam.
Haha.
Intros and outros are mine.
Ha-ha.
Yes, sir.
I'm like shaking. All right.
I'll put the mic away. I'm sorry.
I'm an 8. This is mine.
Yes. Yes.
No, but yes, Goat Bear Lobster, go check them out. Benjamin's Book Journal, go check that out. I'll just start listing all your stuff one day. Once they're starting a new show. Do you guys have what's the name of the thing?
Small group podcast starting. We're recording tomorrow night. We're not at y'all's level going live just yet.
No, you're good. There's not a level. I started in a closet, and then we did a little shed behind Bo's restaurant. Yeah. There's dimensions to this. This was not always the case.
This is also not the last iteration.
No, this is also no. Grow. We want to be better. So yeah, thank you guys for giving us your time. Thank you guys for staying and watching and listening the whole time. If you made it this far on the podcast version, leave us a 5-star review. Delightfully unhinged. I love it.
Yes.
We got to get new shirts. We'll talk about that. Once again, next week, giveaway winner announced. Punishing trivia. I don't know what's going to happen on this show next week, but it's probably not going to be great for us. It'll be fantastic for you, but it's probably not going to be great to be in the studio next Thursday. But again, content is the ultimate goal, and making you guys happy by making ourselves miserable. We will oblige.
We do it.
Yep. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching, listening, and we will see you next Thursday night.